you ever scrolled through Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, or if you're old school, Google Images and stumbled across a drawing or an image of a character with something, with an inanimate object, usually an LTV, covering or replacing their head? Or maybe you've seen one of those long Furbies. Maybe a simple empty indoor playground. If you already know what I'm talking about, you've probably seen mushrooms lining a checkered walkway to nowhere with words saying, "Wake up, everything's alive, nothing's real, you're not real." Or if you're on TikTok, you might have heard that audio behind a number of special effect makeup artists during October. The Siri-like voice talking about her mother's crazy sister Kate, microwaving her poodle to dry it. These are all core elements of a popular aesthetic called weirdcore. Also under several different names like dreamcore, oddcore, kidcore, and sometimes even clowncore. So weirdcore is an aesthetic made of dreamlike surrealism, liminal spaces, mushrooms, generally unsettling sounds, eyes, teeth, angel wings, and oddly enough, biblically accurate angels. These images are often paired with sentences relating to derealization. So if the visuals and audios of this aesthetic are so centered around discomfort and derealization, why do so many people like it? Well, let's say from this point forward, when I mention the term art, that includes music, performing arts, photography, digital art, or editing, traditional art, as well as language arts. Keeping that in mind, we've all probably been told at some point that art qualifies as good when it provokes thought and emotion. So how can we know this? I can test that out right here. I'm sure you've all probably done this sort of thing before, but I want you to think the first emotion that comes to mind, say that in your head. Here's the first one. Yeah, I know, this one's really easy. The gloomy colors, the clear image of a person weeping. This is clearly meant to show sadness. Here's the next one. A little more tricky, but just as easy of an emotion to guess. Warm colors, sharp, messy lines. This is obviously anger or frustration. Now, I have one more to show you, and this one might feel a little different for everyone. So some of you may associate this with happy feelings. Some may feel a little nostalgic. Maybe you're one of the many that feel uncomfortable by this. These are all correct answers. With that, I believe we can all comfortably agree that feeling these emotions from a single image is really powerful and maybe even a little enjoyable. That last image, as you could probably guess, is related to the weirdcore aesthetic. Many claim they feel a sense of safety or comfort from these images. Some say these images bring up nostalgic feelings. Now, I know that may sound incredibly odd to some of you. How could someone feel nostalgic if they've never experienced anything like it? This is where the alternative name comes in, dreamcore. Many believe that this nostalgia people feel stem from dreams they may have had. Raise a hand if you've ever had a weird dream. So, usually these weird dreams spill into the next dream like a weird transition, like it's poorly planned. This is part of dreamcore we call liminal space. Liminal space attempts to capture that weird transition between dreams and put it in image form. Personally, I found liminal space through an automated bot on Twitter. Clearly, I fell in love with the style. Me being someone that's always thrived on and clinged to nostalgia, I love the way it makes me feel, and I find it really interesting how incredibly different the same image can make two different people feel. Now, back on track, how many of you know what the backrooms is? So if you don't know, it's a concept where anyone has the chance of no-clipping into the place, like a video game glitch. Actually, this is the original image posted on 4chan in 2019. This was originally described by the anonymous user as nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and a approximately 600 million miles of randomly segmented rooms to be trapped in. So why is it so popular now? It gained attention after a lost footage style video was posted on YouTube by Kane Pixels, a 17-year-old director and VFX artist. He posted many of these videos, picturing the perspective of someone that no-clipped into the place, as well as the perspectives of various suited-up government workers exploring. The Backrooms is a perfect example of liminal space. Okay, so with traditional art and edited images covered, let's talk about music. Many of you have likely received your Spotify Wrapped for 2022. A little bit off topic and not to brag or rather sell myself out as crazy, but this is how many minutes I've listened to my all-time favorite artist on Spotify, Teddy Hyde. 17,977 minutes. To put that in perspective, that's just barely under 12 and a half days straight. So who is Teddy Hyde and how does he even relate to this topic? Well, a few of his songs were actually playing before my talk today. Really weird. So he's a musician that composes and publishes experimental jazz music. Here's a better picture of him. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at this guy, but all of his albums are absolutely wild and are drowned in deeper meanings. Most of the time, his songs are intentionally written to hold double, triple, and sometimes even quadruple meanings. One particular album Teddy has published is called Talkies. In this album, he improvises poetry while playing the piano. This odd form of music would be included in the weirdcore aesthetic. Now, I wish I could read you a full poem of his, but to keep this short, I'm just going to read off the names of the album along with the pictures that were posted with them. I live in the clouds. I'm a bus driver. I'm stuck in a tree. There's a cave in my attic. I've been sleeping in your garage. I'm a head farmer. This waterfall is in the wrong place. People ask me all the time. I was attacked by that rock over there. I could fly if I wanted to. Hey, there's a funeral down the street, and this is not good. Now, obviously I'm a little biased, but I highly recommend checking this album out at some point. Maybe some of his other albums as well, like One and the Other, Sock-Footed, Splitsville, or Sleepies. Once again, the contents of Talkies was actually improvised, so this particular album probably doesn't have any deeper meanings, but the way he's just speaking so dramatically while playing the piano so peacefully is exactly why people like me like it. One particular instance where he's super dramatic is waterfall in the soup aisle, angrily ranting about it, and a cave in his attic. So we've effectively danced around the true core of weirdcore, looking at dreamcore or liminal spaces, nostalgiacore, borderline kidcore, and music already. This is the part of weirdcore that really emphasizes derealization. So I will warn you, I'm talking about this. Edited characters with inanimate objects on their heads, with liminal space backgrounds. Sentences that feel completely normal when not paired with the imagery. Commonly, these characters' heads are singular eyes, but many artists digitally draw characters like this. These characters are often created to act as a fictional parent figure or a friend to the artist, with the intent to heal the artist's inner child or shorten childhood. This is why kidcore is often so closely related to weirdcore. Kidcore is definitely the more tame side of this style of art. Once again, I will warn you that this next portion of images are the more uncomfortable side of weirdcore. Here it is. Teeth Seeing eyes are a huge part of true weirdcore style. Derealization is also a much bigger part, often made to heal the artist's trauma as well. Everyone copes differently, and it's very clear with these two different sides of the aesthetic. So some people make art to reenact it in a darker fashion, to either minimize their trauma or normalize it, while other artists make completely unrelated, childish, paternal or maternal characters to dissociate and separate themselves from their situation temporarily, so for a break, so they can forget about their issues and live in this self-made world for a bit. Now, I'm not a mental health professional, and I don't know if this is a healthy coping strategy. I don't think it is, but it sounds like a fun one at the very least. So weirdcore is a crazy, huge umbrella term of aesthetics surrounding all types of art that give off uncomfortable and disturbing feelings. Good art induces emotions, so inducing a number of emotions with one image is really powerful. Different for every individual makes art great. Weirdcore art is extremely impressive. Capturing that transition between dreams into a single image, or making a series of improvised words along with a few sentences of a few measures of improvised piano that can make someone feel both safe and uncomfortable at the same time is insanely cool. Also, making weirdcore characters is just fun. Maybe you could come up with some good inanimate objects to throw on a person's head. Whether you're someone that finds weirdcore enjoyable or someone that finds it uncomfortable, I hope that some of you can leave here today with a new interest. Thank you.
All right, great job, Atlas. Does anybody have any questions in the audience? John?
Do you make your own?
I make my own characters, but not weirdcore characters.
Why not?
I